Is westbound a little past the I-15 junction, about 6th West. Emergency crews are blocking a right lane of travel there. Another crash on Bangerter Highway. Actually, it's a stalled vehicle. This is northbound near the 201 junction, about 1820 south. It had been blocking a center lane. They're working to get it moved out of traffic. And we still have the cleanup of the crash involving a rolled semi. This is in Clearfield, westbound 7th South SR 193, approaching I-15 at the junction. Westbound lanes are still completely blocked to traffic. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A little cooler today with a high of 94 degrees, but the thermostat climbing right back up to 98 tomorrow. Tomorrow, a slight chance of showers coming back. Right now, 90 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A water meter leak sending thick mud down the hillside and into homes in Holiday.
Everything. I haven't had a chance that I was just going to go try to poke my head in and see through the windows because we can't even get the doors open because the mud is like keeping the doors shut, so we had to go through the back windows there.
The time is 1 o'clock on Wednesday, July 16th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up and in depth on a number of waterline issues across the Wasatch Front recently, spewing millions of gallons of water into the air and causing property damage galore. Also this hour,
you just can't imagine unless you're there the tension that goes on in a search like this.
we'll look into the minds of volunteers as they continue their search for the bodies of those killed by the floods in Texas. But first, our top stories. The cause of a mudslide and flood in Holiday turns out to have been a water meter doing its job. Salt Lake City Public Utilities spokesperson Chloe Maroney says that the water meter in question includes a sacrificial button, a piece of equipment that's meant to flood.
If water starts building up, it's designed to sacrifice itself. In other words, it's designed to go ahead and let the water out through the slots that are in it. And that's exactly what happened here.
But in this case, the water meter was located on a slope above the home, so instead of being absorbed into the ground, it ran downhill. Maroney says the next step is to bring in a contractor to shore up the hill so that they can make repairs. Our top national story from ABC News. President Trump was asked today about Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell amid reports that the president had indicated to allies he would fire him.
President Trump dismissed reports that he drafted a letter to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, but told reporters Wednesday he did discuss the issue with Republican lawmakers last night.
I talked about the concept of fire him. I said, what do you think? Almost every one of them said I should. But I'm more conservative than they are.
The president repeatedly brought up a $2.5 billion renovation project at the Fed, suggesting Powell is committing fraud, seeming to lay the groundwork for firing him for cause.
He spent far more money than he was supposed to on rebuilding.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
House lawmakers will reconsider legislation on cryptocurrency today. President Trump claims that he was able to convince Republican holdouts to vote yes today after 12 of them rejected the bills by surprise.
Supporters championing these overall crypto bills as first of their kind, but there are concerns that one of the bills regulating a digital asset called stablecoins doesn't go far enough in regulating an often volatile industry. And Democrats point to the fact that President Trump, whose family business is building an empire on cryptocurrency, could personally benefit from the bill because a firm with ties to the Trump family recently launched its own stablecoin.
ABC's Jay O'Brien reporting. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 220 points, about 0.5%, sitting at 44,245. S&P up by 21 points, and the NASDAQ up by 0.25%, up 49 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
A right lane still blocked with an accident in Draper, westbound Bangerter Highway at about 7th West. We also have a stalled vehicle in traffic on Bangerter Highway. This is northbound approaching the 201 junction, and it looks like crews are close to opening up westbound lanes of travel in Clearfield. where we have this rolled semi that crashed earlier. This is westbound 7th South SR 193 near the I-15 junction. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Staying in the mid-90s for the next few days with a slight chance of showers bubbling up in the afternoon, 10% tomorrow, 20% on Friday and Saturday. 90 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
The Social Security Administration just announced they are now projected to run out of money 1 year earlier than expected. Benefits could be cut by as much as 23%, and the average person could lose more than $100,000 in lifetime income. This news could significantly change when you file for Social Security. Discover how you could get every penny out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. This free, customized analysis could help you get every penny out of Social Security. Call 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
History had the gold rush, then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. Did I mention you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your visitors, and whoever else is home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and the best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years, guaranteed all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com to learn more. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only, select plans only. Xfinity Gateway and XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
3 homeowners in Holiday digging out their properties today from mud that rushed down the hill last night. The cause of the mudslide, a broken water meter. It's the latest in a series of waterline breaks and issues along the Wasatch Front over the last month and a half. Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. KSL News Radio's Adam Small was there at the scene all morning speaking to homeowners. One of the people he spoke with, Paul Holmes, says is just a huge mess in his basement and along his driveway.
Just like almost seemed like an explosion of water come out from up there, and it just started rushing down. And by the time I got here, it was like this. The fire trucks were already here. Fire department helping build up this whole thing to channel the water that was still coming, because it took quite a while for them to figure out how to shut the water off. So they had to go apparently way up to Wasatch Boulevard to shut the water main off. So it ran for a few hours.
Paul lives in the basement of his parents' home, the same basement that flooded and is now covered with several feet of mud.
Everything. I haven't had a chance that I was just going to go try to poke my head in and see through the windows, because we can't even get the doors open because the mud is like keeping the doors shut. So we had to go through the back windows there. We were able to salvage, luckily my computer sits right next to the window and it was on top of the desk, so I was able to pull that, but that was, couldn't get in to get anything else,
Paul says he's just grateful neither he nor his dog Arthur were inside when it happened, and now he says it's just a matter of working with the city and his insurance company to restore his home of 30 years.
The disaster restoration company said it would be, just based on that amount of water and stuff, it's a full restoration, tear down to the studs, and hopefully, the furnace and the airflow unit and everything in the house, and the water hot water heater all in the basement, so those should probably all be ruined as well.
Chloe Maroney with the Salt Lake City Department of Public Utilities says the cause of the flooding wasn't actually a water main line break, but was a water meter doing exactly what it's supposed to do to protect the water lines.
The actual water meter itself is about 21 years old, and it looks in this case as though age is to blame for this. However, the water meter bottom actually did what it's supposed to do. And protected the water line. So there's not an actual water line break. So in saying that there's a sacrificial bottom, water is supposed to, if it is coming up, it's supposed to go out of the slots that are in the bottom of the meter, and it saturates the ground. And typically if you're on a flat area, it would not be an issue. It happens so that happened up on the hill, 50 to 75 feet up, which then saturated the ground, and so then the mud came down.
What's next for the area? Maroney says they will clean up the area and work with the homeowners to clean up the mess.
Fixing the area, so we're going to be doing that as well. However, to shore up the hill, we have to call in a contractor to do that. So that will be going on, as will remediation of the basement. And yes, so the homeowners would contact risk management for Salt Lake City, and they would file a claim, and then that process would unfold. And yes, so the city definitely does respond to that.
The most recent incident in Holiday isn't the first water main line issue in the city this year. In fact, just last month, a water line break caused a road to cave in. Giant sinkholes appeared in 2 spots on Nyla Way in the first couple of weeks of June. The holes so deep that you could only see the tip of a utility worker's hat after he had been lowered into them. Now, the holes spanning over 3/4 of the width of the residential street. While it took truckloads of dirt to fill those holes, the street still hasn't been repaired, and the asphalt around those holes continues to crumble as cars try to navigate around that mess. Midday executive producer Andy Cupp has more on the recent breaks and the damage that they have caused.
The first sinkhole on Nyla Way in Holiday appeared on June 4th. At the time, Salt Lake City Utilities Deputy Director Jesse Stewart told KSL-TV he believed a water main line break there caused 2 sinkholes, one right next to the other.
This one is going to go back, over-excavate it, go down to that area, excavate down, put in good backfill, compact it, and put a new asphalt down.
The water pipe there has been fixed, but the road's still under construction. Then this last weekend, a major water line burst along Center Street in Provo, shooting water high into the sky. Roughly 15 cars and several businesses were damaged due to that break, with rocks shooting out of the ground along with the rushing water. But that's not all. A water main broke on Monday in Centerville, too, spewing out nearly 2 million gallons of water.
Those incidents combined with last night's flooding in Holiday mean that there have been 4 separate waterline breaks or other waterline issues along the Wasatch Front in just the last month and a half. With all those problems, we reached out to the state for some additional information. Chris Parker, Division of Public Utilities Director, wasn't able to join us for an interview, but issued a statement instead saying for the limited number of water companies in the Division of Public Utilities jurisdiction, the division strongly supports a rate-funded capital reserve account to ensure that companies can replace aging infrastructure and respond to emergencies. The Public Service Commission has supported, he says, this approach in these cases. In Provo, city officials are reviewing all the pipes under the roads in hopes of avoiding another water main break like the one that happened on Saturday. Public Works Director Gordon Haight tells KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi catastrophic breaks like that happen in pipes that are at least 60 years old.
A catastrophic failure like we saw on Saturday is very rare for most pipe breaks. Usually you get a little bit of water come up to the surface, and that's what we anticipate if a pipe starts degrading to the level this has. And so we're continuing to observe it and to watch what's happening, as well as all the systems throughout the whole city. So we don't anticipate a break like that again, but we're watching it closely to make sure that we're correct on our assumption. It just wasn't a pipe that had come up on our radar at this point, but now it is on our radar, so we're watching it closely.
Haight says age of a pipe isn't the only factor that causes a pipe to fail, so the city has to look at a number of different things.
Kind of interesting, we've gone back and looked at some of our older pipes, and some of them are in much better shape than this pipe. So it has a lot to do with where it was placed, the soils, depending if they're corrosive or not. So there's there's a lot of factors. Just because something old, and I'm old, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but you have to look at the years and what has happened to that pipe, and we even have some pipes that have struggled because the ground is moving. We have a lot of shifting faults up on the east bench that also causes us problems that we're watching very closely. So there's a lot of reasons pipes can have challenges, and age is one of them. And so we're looking closely this year. We're putting quite a bit of money to replacing some of our most severely aged and deteriorated pipe. And so we put a list together, and every year we make sure that we're doing the ones that are going to help protect the system the most.
But he does say pipes buried under Center Street have been particularly problematic.
It appears that the soils underneath Center Street are corrosive. More than 30 years ago when they put it in, it wasn't appreciated as much as the time. Now we have techniques that protect ductile iron pipes from corrosion. We wrap them and put materials around it that protect water from getting into them, so that the lifetime, these kinds of events do not take place based on our current standards. And again, these are not just Provo standing standards. These are national standards and throughout the state. As water departments became more sophisticated over the last 3 or 4 decades, better materials were put in and greater evaluation and care was looked into as each system was installed.
Haight says all pipes in Provo are on a schedule for inspection and replacement if needed. Stay with us. In just 60 seconds, we'll continue our conversation on infrastructure in Utah with a look at a dam that's under reconstruction.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
In Panguitch, it's not water pipes, but cracks in a dam that are causing concern. Construction crews are getting ready to build a new dam at Panguitch Lake after cracks in the old dam led to flooding worries. Utah Division of Water Rights engineer Matt Call tells KSL News Radio's Vril Johansson the nearly $4 million project comes after the upper part of the dam cracked in April of 2024.
Well, the old dam will be partially removed as part of the construction. The new dam is being built immediately downstream of it, and as part of the construction process, the majority of the old dam will be torn out.
Call says the state is constantly assessing the needs of dams.
And the state has we require dams to meet minimum standards as part of state statute. However, when that statute was implemented, the legislature realized that it was quite a burden on the individual dam owners. And so as a result of that, they established a grant program, and we whenever we have a list of dams, a priority listing of dams that need to meet those minimum standards, and as money is available from the state, we are able to then contact those individual owners and ask them to get ready and to get an engineer and so that we can go in and repair their dam. As of right now, there's approximately 100 dams on that priority listing that that need to be addressed, and they vary in what needs to be addressed across the board. The program has been going since 1990, and so we've been able to address approximately 40 dams across the state at this point, and those were the ones that were of most concern. And so, we're continuing to always address dams around the state and the safety of those dams.
He says while the dams are frequently monitored, there's always a chance for problems.
It's really unpredictable, but that's why we go out every year. We go out and we inspect these dams. We call them high hazard dams. We classify dams according to what would happen, the consequence of failure, and a high hazard dam has a consequence of failure that somebody's life may be lost. And so we go out and we inspect these high hazard dams on an annual basis, and just making sure that they are in good condition. If we see potential issues, we act on those as we see them. If we see a degrading situation and something that needs to be addressed, we do address those immediately. Run some of these dams, maybe run up to the top of the priority list and get those dams fixed if we see issues. But we do always go out and we look at these dams on an annual basis to ensure that they are remaining safe, and the things are looking good with them. But it is very unpredictable if we can to say that. We've got a bunch of dams that are they going to fail? We feel we're in good shape. We feel they're in a safe condition right now, but it's unpredictable.
Construction on the dam on Panguitch Lake is expected to be completed in time to handle the spring runoff next year. State leaders saying Utah's land is not for sale. More on their push against foreign land buyers in just a few minutes. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
It's the final cleanup of a crash in Draper, westbound Bangerter Highway at about 6th West, just west of I-15. It's been moved out of traffic to the shoulder. And good news for drivers in Davis County. The accident that had westbound lanes closed for quite some time, the crash westbound 7th South SR 193 in Clearfield near the I-15 junction, that's been cleared. All lanes of travel in both directions are open. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Make this summer the summer that you do something good for yourself and save $200 now at slcfatloss.com. I've lost 40 pounds with this great program, and you can too. It's an all-natural program, so you don't have to worry about any sort of side effects from things like medications, injections, surgeries. There's nothing like that. It's just a simple combination of foods that really burn off that stored fat very quickly. And that means there's no need for you to do any rigorous workouts. And it also means that you don't get so frustrated with your inability to lose weight. They also have some great resources for you on their app, great recipes, inspiration, and that app keeps you accountable. Find out more, learn how to save $200 now at slcfatloss.com. Again, slcfatloss.com. You can also call them at 801-450-1882. Wouldn't it be great to lose up to a pound per day? If that's what many of their clients lose, go to slcfatloss.com.
Hey there, it's Julie from Logan, where we know how to celebrate summer. First, something super cool when it's really hot. Logan has a new plaza downtown with music and games and a splash pad for kids. Well, I said kids, but hey, we don't judge. Jump in. Free Alive After 5 concerts and movies at the plaza Wednesday and Friday nights. Check out the calendar at explorelogan.com. Keep it cool by checking out live tribute concerts like The Monkees, Elton John's The Rocket Man Show, and the Neil Diamond Experience. If theater is more your style, see the musical Bright Star, Broadway's The Prince of Egypt, or the classic comedy The Importance of Being Earnest. After all, Logan is Utah's heart of the arts. Fresh mountain air is only 10 minutes from your hotel. Enjoy cooler temperatures in the canyon while you hike, mountain bike, picnic, fish, or sing yodelay-hee-hoo at the top of your lungs. Everything's cooler in Logan, and we've got a lot going on. Check out the calendar at explorelogan.com. explorelogan.com.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm, I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried, because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com. That's thesternteam.com, or Google The Stern Team.
You were listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos. Governor Spencer Cox says Utah is not for sale in response to Chinese groups looking to buy land near the Provo airport. State Representative Candace Perucci helped stop the purchase in part because of legislation that she championed 2 years ago. She spoke earlier with Inside Sources hosts Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson.
In 2023-2024, I ran legislation that prohibits not only China, but their subsidiary shell companies, any company that's headquartered in China, from purchasing land in Utah. And as part of that, we engaged the Department of Public Safety, and they conduct an annual training with county recorders who are going to be looking at land transactions. And they also are working with SIAC to do these investigations. So fast forward to over the summer, there was a company that tried to purchase a large amount of land next to the Provo airport. And it was actually a county recorder that flagged it, because this entity is listed on the restricted list that the National Defense Authorization puts out, that we have tied into the legislation and part of the training. So that was really significant. And because of that, they blocked the sale. And this company actually does and creates the jets and drones for the CCP military. This is a really, quite frankly, a really big win for Utah to keep a foreign adversary like China out of the backyard of one of our critical infrastructures.
Representative, can you tell our listeners, does the legislation prevent land sales generally, or is it limited to what we are calling strategically important land?
It's across the state, any land. So we did a broad sweep here because agriculture land is national security, food security is national security. So it is not just next to air bases or military installations. It's across the state.
So can you speak to our listeners about what particular foreign governments? It's broader than just China, isn't it?
Correct. It's tied to restricted foreign entities in the National Defense Authorization Act. Right now, that's Russia, North Korea, Iran, and China. Now, if you look, what our intelligence community is telling us is China is the country that's actually perpetrating this strategy, but we included all of them.
Notwithstanding the legislation, it has to be concerning Representative, that the land specifically that we're talking about here is near an airport, especially when you mentioned the type of company that was purchasing the land.
Absolutely.
I mean, it seems obvious. I don't know that we.
It's so
something.
brazen.
Right.
It's so brazen. It should be offensive, in my opinion. And they've been doing this for decades, quite frankly. And so, what's unique about Utah's law is it's not just proactive; it's retroactive.
Earlier this week, the governor pointed out that most of the land owned by Chinese interests in the U.S. is in just 5 states, and Utah is one of those 5. Perucci says there are good reasons for that.
If you look at the growing national security prime companies that are in Utah, right, Northrop Grumman and others, we have Hill Air Force Base, Camp Williams, Dugway, which conducts chemical testing and all sorts of testing for the military. So we have a lot of military assets that also make us quite frankly, more of a target from a national security perspective.
Perucci says of the 37,000 or so acres owned by Chinese interests in Utah, the law she sponsored resulted in the sale of about 30,000 acres to a Utah family. It's 1:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Search and recovery efforts continue in Texas. We'll get into the minds of those who are volunteering, helping to find the bodies of the missing. Safety tips to keep you and your family safe when you're out on the water this summer. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Another crash on SR 193, this time in Layton, and it is on the westbound side at Church Street. It's blocking traffic. Maria?
KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. First, ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. At the White House, President Trump criticized Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, renewing his calls for Powell to lower interest rates. The president also says he talked in concept of firing Powell with Republicans, but says it's highly unlikely he'll fire him.
I talked about the concept of firing him. I said, what do you think? Almost every one of them said I should. But I'm more conservative than they are.
President Trump nominated Powell during his first term in the White House. President Biden kept Powell as chair for another 4-year term. The House taking up a cryptocurrency package again, a day after 12 Republicans joined Democrats to block the spending measures from advancing to the floor. More than 100 wildfires are burning in the U.S., 2 of them in Arizona near the Grand Canyon. Some rain helping fire crews today, but both fires are still 0% contained. And in the Gulf, a tropical storm could develop in the next 48 hours, targeting the Gulf Coast. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Salt Lake City Mayor Mendenhall says the city is making big strides toward better public safety, but she wants the legislature to lend a hand to keep that progress going. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Mayor Mendenhall says 12 of the 27 city-led strategies to help make the city safe are complete, and the other 15 are in progress. She credits the community-based approach, listening to residents, and acting with urgency. But she says they could be doing more with help from the state, adding the city advocated for clear policy changes to better enhance the action plan, and lawmakers chose not to support them.
Salt Lake City cannot act alone for the public safety plan to be effective. Each level of government, each individual function must hold one another accountable, or the system will remain fragmented and inefficient.
Mendenhall is urging lawmakers to give the policies, including funding for temporary housing, more serious consideration in the future. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
2 men from Tooele were booked into jail accused of kidnapping and threatening a man with a gun because they thought he was snitching on their drug deals. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Police arrested Peter Brandt and Alex Bowden, writing in jail documents the two tied up a man and then put a gun in his mouth as part of an interrogation. They wanted to know if the man was snitching on their cocaine deals to police. They also threatened him if he didn't hand over his phone and his password so they could see who he's been contacting.
The 2 suspects are now charged with aggravated kidnapping and aggravated robbery, along with other charges. A firefighter has been taken to the hospital after being injured while working on the Forsyth fire in southern Utah. Dameron Valley Fire and Rescue reports that they helped get the firefighter off the mountain to a designated landing zone where medics treated him while waiting for a helicopter. He was taken to St. George Regional Hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. Multiple fire departments are sending crews to help with the Monroe Canyon fire burning in Sevier Canyon. West Valley City Fire posted on Facebook today that they are sending a 4-person crew for up to 2 weeks. Kaysville Fire is also sending a paramedic ambulance. The fire has burned 8,600 acres so far and is still 0% contained. There is a community meeting tonight at the Sevier County Fairgrounds in Richfield for all the residents who have been impacted. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 180 points, sitting at 44,202. S&P is up by 17 points, and the NASDAQ, it's up by 48 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
A nice drive on your Salt Lake County freeways. The second crash of the day on SR 193 in Davis County. Again, it's on the westbound side, this time in Layton at Church Street. It is blocking lanes of traffic, and it's in the intersection. So definitely use caution trying to get around that. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today is still hot, but not as hot as yesterday. Today's high 94, 98 tomorrow, though, and then staying in the mid-90s for the rest of this next 7 days. Right now, 90 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Home sellers, do not lose money selling your home the old way. Make more money when you sell your home with a Bank Buster loan. This is Rod with the Save Right Realtor team at Realty Path. Average interest rates are in the mid to high sixes, but Save Right Realtors will market your home with a fixed rate as low as 4.75%. The ultra-low Bank Buster rate gives buyers monthly payments that are hundreds less than comparable homes. When your home is much more affordable, you get a larger pool of potential buyers who can buy your home. When buyers compare homes and see your home is hundreds less per month, you'll get a quicker offer and a higher sale price. Do not lose money selling your home the old way. Sell faster and make more money. Sell with Save Right. Sell with the Bank Buster loan. Call 801-APPROVE or visit SaveRight.com.
You probably saved my life.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight and keep it off.
I mean, I was 30 pounds overweight, and I went in, and the doctor said, you need to change your diet.
Get help and get started with Soda Weight Loss.
Got off my blood pressure medicine and my cholesterol medicine, and that is amazing to me.
I went from a 16, 18 down to a size 4 now. So that is amazing. It makes you feel so good.
Splash into summer savings right now with Soda's lowest prices of the year.
No injections, no pills, no hunger.
I would recommend Soda because it's sustainable. This is lifetime change.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal.
We're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and results. And with our incredible summer savings, what are you waiting for?
Get help. Get results at SodaWeightLoss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
You are listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos. Drier conditions are expected in parts of central Texas today, where floods have killed at least 133 people. 100 are still missing. This afternoon, we are learning officials in the hardest hit county didn't send emergency alerts until 2 days later. News Nation affiliate in Austin reports data from FEMA shows that the locally targeted alerts didn't go out until July 6th, despite warnings from the National Weather Service. County officials have not yet commented on that news. News Nation's Xavier Walton is in Kerrville.
Get you back in and get you pulled up.
These proud few
There you go.
make up a small part of the army of cadaver dogs.
He was meant to do this.
Driving the next phase of this massive search and recovery effort.
These dogs are a key tool for emergency managers to use to help find these people.
These dogs are like the engine that's keeping the search and recovery going.
I think that is perfect.
We're looking for what they think might have been a body.
Each team, like Jeanette and Jolene, have a system.
Okay, she'll work through the brush, and then all of a sudden she'll pick up her step a little bit, or she will throw her head like that, or she will work some area and come back and give me eye contact.
Handlers say their dogs can smell up to 6 feet underground and underwater. Some of the toughest obstacles during this mission for the canines: heat, terrain, and snakes.
A lot of snakes.
Dita, a top-tier cadaver dog leading the Unified Search and Rescue Team from Ohio, has one goal in mind.
We all have families, so we kind of look at it, what if that was our family member? We would hope that other people would do the same thing for us. We just want to be there to get these folks back to their families.
President Trump has approved federal help for many of the communities impacted. What about the actual search and rescue efforts and the volunteers working tirelessly through the muck and mud? Professor Scott Hammond teaches management at Utah State University. You probably heard his Management Minute here on KSL News Radio. What you might not know is that he's also a member of the Utah County Search and Rescue Team, which does more than 100 search and rescue missions each year. I spoke to him about the kinds of search and recovery efforts and processes that would be underway in Texas right now. Well, first of all, talk about what it means to move from a search, a rescue, to a recovery mission.
You just can't imagine, unless you're there, the tension that goes on in a search like this. There are people out there working very hard and in a very dangerous place to make recoveries. There are families standing and trying to help. There are people trying to sneak in. There are reporters. There's a sheriff who is used to dealing with bar fights and traffic tickets who's now in charge of this major disaster, and it's just really a high-tension place. And so when they start saying, hey, it's a recovery, it's incredibly disappointing for many people because you're telling them essentially the news they don't want to hear.
On the news, we are just seeing spots of what's happening, just getting just little snapshots of what's happening there. But what we have seen are huge debris fields, debris piles. How in the world do you go about a recovery like that?
So we know this in Utah. We've done this in Utah a lot of times. I did it last summer in Moab. There was a flash flood in Moab, above Moab. By the time it got to Moab, it was 6 inches deep and kind of ruined the souvenir shops. But upstream, it just scoured out this canyon completely. And there was a couple on an ATV from Texas going up that canyon, and they perished in that flash flood. And I went into that canyon with my dog, and it was just like somebody had put this whole piece of Utah geography into a washing machine. There were not pieces. There were pieces of houses. There were pieces of the ATV. We initially found clothing belonging to the victims, but finding the actual victims is just incredibly difficult, and that's where dogs come in. Dogs are incredibly helpful in these kind of situations.
In my mind, when I think of flash flooding, I just see water pouring down an area wherever it is. I don't often think about the fact that it's not just water. A lot is being pulled along with that water, which results in this debris.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so there were 2 victims in that Utah flash flood. One of them was found, I believe it was 8 months later, 22 miles away in the Colorado River. The first one was found after about 3 weeks in a debris pile that we were in with my dog. And it was it was like nature had built a dam or a strainer there. There must have been 50 trees all tied up in this wall, and without a chainsaw and multiple days of work, you would not even get into it. It's just incredibly dense and difficult.
It's hard for me to imagine what rescuers must go through when they're searching through this debris. What is that like?
Well, I always talk about there are three levels of victims. I mean, there's the victims that we know, and it's a tragedy, and it's very hard. And then there's the families, and the families are standing there. They're sitting. Think of all the people who are waiting to hear if their loved one who's on that list of missing is going to be found, and how they're going to be found. Those are victims. Those are people who are traumatically stressed. And then the third level are the searchers. It's in these situations, it's really difficult. And I have to say, one of the reasons I love search and rescue is because most of the time it's happy endings. Most of the time you're walking up the trail, you help somebody down, and things are just fine. But when you have a difficult situation like this, whether it's one person or 100 people, you need psychological counseling to get through it, grief, just like any first responder. And you need your friends around you, your team around you to help you get through it.
You mentioned your dog. I'm having a hard time understanding how these dogs can find people who are buried under so many feet of mud. I mean, how good is their smell instinct?
Oh, it's just amazing. It's amazing, and it's beyond amazing. I'm on my second dog, so I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I still am amazed at the kind of problems they can solve. They see with their nose, and just like we see with our eyes, and they can smell maybe 500 or 600 times better than we can. And so they will go, for example, they will go into a strainer or something, and my dog put his nose on this area and then started to paw, and then he came back and hit me on the chest, which is his recall, and then took me in and pawed again and showed me exactly where he thought this woman was. And they can do that. They are very good at that. And having a well-trained dog is worth 200 searchers.
How long do you see a recovery operation like the one going on in Texas lasting?
Yeah, the one in Texas will be, I'm not sure they'll ever resolve everything in Texas. For one thing, they do not know really how many people perished, and they will not know that. Think of if there were homeless people encamped in that area. They don't register with anybody. Nobody knows they're there. Nobody's tracking them. And so there may be homeless people that perished. They will not know. Totally, they will never fully have a number. And then it's very likely that they will not find everybody, and at some point they'll have to say, they'll have to dial back and say, we're not searching anymore, but we hope those people will be found.
Any final thoughts for us?
Well, I think that one of the things that's really important to note is that most of these searchers are volunteers. They're not getting paid, and they're being paid by the thanks that you give them when you see them going in. So it really helps to have somebody say thanks for your service. And so if you know somebody on search and rescue or working on search and rescue, give them a thanks sometime.
Well, Scott, thank you for your service, and thank you for being with me today.
Thank you, Maria. Take care.
Roughly 100 people are still considered missing from that devastating flooding in Texas. Another drowning in Utah waters from someone trying to help a child. We'll discuss safety tips for you and your family when you're around the water. That's coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic, emergency traffic brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
This is in Utah County. We had an accident. A lot of vehicles were involved with this, and one may have lost a trailer southbound I-15 in the East Bay area of Provo. So that's just before you get to Springville. It had multiple left lanes of traffic blocked for a little while, long enough to get traffic stacked up and backed up to about Center Street in Provo. Now the crash and everything has been moved over to the shoulder out of traffic. All lanes are open, but we're still waiting for these backups to clear. Is bad software slowing you down like bad traffic? DevSimplify.com builds custom software solutions that move fast. Clean code, clean results. Visit DevSimplify.com. Remember, DevSimplify.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
This week's movie show is brought to you by Sound Sleep Medical. Get a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation by tuning in on Friday morning. Sound Sleep Medical with 7 locations in Utah.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227, or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your electric bill is going to be higher for summer, but not if you get new windows from Advanced Window Products. State-of-the-art double-pane windows and insulated frames, any style, any color, from a company that's been building them right here in Salt Lake City for 39 years. Not only are you buying local, but you're cutting out the middleman because they're the factory. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows, and you get a lifetime guarantee from a trusted local company. If there's a problem 5 years from now, they come right over and get things straight. And right now, you can save even more. If you call Advanced Windows for a quote, they'll give you an extra $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Advanced Windows offers buy now, pay later. They have 60-month 0% financing. They always work out affordable payments, plus $2,500 off. So get your new windows for summer. Make the call now, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or you can go to advancedwindows.com.
It's time to hit the road and make this your summer of freedom with Motorsportsland's RV summer deals happening right now. Save thousands on the RV you've always wanted and get away in style, comfort, and luxury. Whether you're chasing sunsets or campfire nights, we've got the perfect trailer to get you there. If you're sitting at another dealer to make a deal and suddenly they're adding thousands for freight, prep, or orientation, that's your cue to run away and come to Motorsportsland, where what you see is what you pay. Our prices are real. No hidden charges, no gimmicks, and no pressure. We're a family-owned, local Utah dealership that's been helping people just like you get away for over 55 years. Plus, we offer flexible financing, expert service, and free training with every RV we sell. Adventure's calling, so don't miss your chance. Come in today and let Motorsportsland help you get away.
Let Motorsportsland help you get away.
Motorsportsland.com.
This is Midday with Maria Shilaos. To those of you streaming us on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros, thanks for tuning in today. Another drowning over the weekend, a man dying at a Utah reservoir after trying to help a 12-year-old girl who was drifting away from the shore on an inflatable tube. Ty Hunter, boating program manager with Utah Division of Outdoor Recreation, joined Inside Sources this morning to talk about water safety. What should you do if you see someone struggling in the water?
Well, the biggest thing is it's the age-old rescue piece. It is the reach. If you can reach them with something, you reach them. If you can throw something to them, a line, an extension cord, whatever you can kind of figure out with that, you do a throw to try to bring them in, and then you do a row with this. So in this case is row out, but then the last one is a go, and it's a go only if you have the proper devices. So let me review back on this, especially with this incident occurred at Silver Lake. With this is we're seeing a rash within a rash of incidents that have occurred since April. We've now got 3 paddlecraft users, and what I mean by that is anything that's human powered. They have lost their lives this year, and we have one personal watercraft operator that lost his life this year too. So we're at 4, and every one of these could have been prevented by wearing a life jacket. So to go back to this rescue piece, if you're going to row out, you take that extra moment, take care of yourself, put that life jacket on, because we don't want to be in the circumstance that kind of unfolded last Saturday with that. And then in the go sense, if you were in the water, you're swimming out to them, you have that life jacket. You take care of yourself with that, because if you don't wear a life jacket going out and taking care of yourself, you're going to multiply the number of people that may be in trouble.
Ty says water-related deaths can happen in just a few minutes, and he says for parents, you must be watching the water and your kids at all times.
You always have a pair of eyes on whomever is in the water. That's whether they're adult, they're teenagers, they're young folks that are out there, your children. You have a water watcher. That person does not have a phone around them. They are focusing. They're not focusing on that screen in front of them. That's put away, and they are focusing on those individuals that are in the water. We've had circumstances that have been on the shorelines where kids are tiptoeing out, and then the next thing we know, they're gone.
You can get more water safety tips by visiting recreation.utah.gov. The company School AI is showing off its technology today, tech that's already being used in more than 80% of Utah school districts. Earlier on Midday, I spoke with the School AI's Chief Experience Officer, Nate Sanders, to find out how the technology is helping Utah students. Tell us some of the ways that School AI is being utilized in Utah's classrooms.
Yeah. AI is obviously a new and exciting technology, and the way that School AI is approaching it is a pretty new and interesting take on how we all work with students. So students are getting real-time personalized learning, and their teachers, administrators, and leaders, and even their families are getting deeper insight into what the student needs, and they're all getting tools to be able to help that personalization happen.
So how prevalent is the use of AI in schools at this point?
Yeah, we are sweeping through the state of Utah pretty aggressively, and this year we expect pretty close to 75 to 85% of most of the school districts across the state of Utah will be using School AI inside of the classroom.
Nate, can you describe how they're using it?
Right now, teachers can create these observable, governed, and easily controlled AI chatbots that they can deploy to their students and help them to be able to receive very personalized instruction, formative assessment, and guidance through different concepts that are personalized to the student themselves. So as these students engage with these AI chatbots, they can have instruction, topics, curriculum adapt to their interests and the things that they need in real time to be able to get more important outcomes that the teacher focuses on.
What are some things that are in place to protect, say, student privacy or to protect from plagiarism?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we focus a lot in the different networks and processes and operations that we follow to be able to ensure that every response that our AI actually responds with is safe, on task, secure, and things like that. So we follow best-in-class measures to be able to keep data protected and secure, and ensure that we follow a lot of different operations and processes to be able to ensure that the AI's response is also safe for each student.
Nate, thanks for your help today.
Thank you.
That was Nate Saunders, School AI's Chief Experience Officer, talking about how AI is being used in more than 80% of Utah school districts. A major design change coming to Samsung's smartwatches. Now they look a bit more similar to the very popular Apple Watch. ABC's Mike Dubusky has a look in today's tech trends.
Samsung smartwatches have long had circular screens, but the new Galaxy Watch 8 and Watch 8 Classic get a little squarer.
There is a new squircle design, so it's the same circular round face, but it's within a square case.
The Galaxy Watches are also the first to come preloaded with Google's artificial intelligence technology, Gemini. For example, if you want to exercise away that pizza you just ate,
Gemini is going to look up the number of calories in an average slice of pizza, and then it'll also be able to figure out what your workout app of choice is and start a run with a calorie target goal.
But the new design and AI functionality come at a price.
Galaxy Watch is about $50 more at $350, and the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic is about $100 more at $499.99.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
Progress on the public safety plan in Salt Lake City, but the mayor saying the state needs to help more.
This crisis demands sustainable, long-term funding from the state to meet the scale of this challenge in the fastest growing state in this nation.
The time is 2 o'clock on Wednesday, July 16th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, do you feel like downtown Salt Lake City is safer today? We'll tell you why Mayor Mendenhall says things are rapidly improving. Also this hour,
34 states have NIL laws. As you can imagine, there are 34 different laws.
name, image, and likeness for college athletes. Congress could level the playing field with national legislation. What will that mean for Utah schools? But first, our top stories. A family in Holiday is now trying to pick up the pieces after a water meter leaked, causing several feet of mud to flood into their basement. Paul Holmes lives in the basement.
You can't even get the doors open because the mud is like keeping the doors shut, so we had to go through the back windows.
Paul says he's grateful that he and his dog Arthur were not home when it happened. He says a disaster restoration company has told him, based on the amount of water and mud that got in, the basement is going to need to be fully redone. They are now working with the city and insurance to get the process started. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Former commissioner for the NYPD has sued current mayor Eric Adams, accusing him of running the police force like a criminal enterprise.
Thomas Donlan briefly led the NYPD as interim commissioner, and he effectively compares the organization to a mafia family and accuses it of violating RICO statutes in the way that he says Eric Adams ran the department. Under his leadership, the lawsuit says the machinery of public safety was not used to serve the people of New York City, but was repurposed to protect political allies and punish internal dissent.
ABC's Aaron Katursky. New threats from President Trump today against Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. During an Oval Office meeting, Mr. Trump said some Republican lawmakers were supportive of firing Powell.
I talked about the concept of fire him. I said, what do you think? Almost every one of them said I should. But I'm more conservative than they are.
The president says he's frustrated with the Fed's decision to keep interest rates where they are, while Powell has said that they are waiting for uncertainty around tariffs to settle. Powell's term as Fed chair ends next year. Other national stories KSL is following. Mortgage applications fell drastically last week.
Figures compiled by the Mortgage Bankers Association find applications for a mortgage to purchase a home falling 12% last week, while applications to refinance a home dropped 7%. This all comes as the rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage jumped from 6.77% to 6.82% in the past 2 weeks.
That is ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. Your money at this moment at the close, the Dow up by 231 points, more than 0.5%, sitting at 44,254. S&P up by 19 points, and the NASDAQ, it ended up 52 points. That's about 0.25%. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
Good speeds have returned once again southbound I-15 in Utah County from Center Street to Springville. However, we do have a crash in Riverton, and this is actually police activity at the scene. They're blocking a left lane of travel southbound Bangerter Highway at 134th South, right in the middle of the construction zone. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures have been creeping up for the last few minutes. Today's high is 94. We're at 93 right now. 98 for tomorrow, and a 10% chance of showers, a 20% chance on Friday. Again, 93 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Hospitals urgently need you today. Summer accidents happen from hiking, boating, blading, and boarding. Fortunately, ARUP's always there. Help someone in need by visiting utahblood.org.
The Social Security Administration just announced they are now projected to run out of money 1 year earlier than expected. Benefits could be cut by as much as 23%, and the average person could lose more than $100,000 in lifetime income. This news could significantly change when you file for Social Security. Discover how you could get every penny out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. This free, customized analysis could help you get every penny out of Social Security. Call 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration. I am not a rich woman, but I feel like a rich woman every time I go in my closet. The best, hands down, present I've ever received was my husband secretly redid my closet with Closets by Design. So now when I go in there aren't all these shoes just junked on the floor. They're neatly sitting on their shelves. And my necklaces are hanging on their individual hooks, and earrings are in their little squares in this soft drawer that pulls out. It's just gorgeous. In fact, he saw how much I loved it. He had Closets by Design redo the garage. So now all the stuff, the tools, the toys, the junk is all in cabinets. When you open our garage door, you see cars. That's it. It's amazing. The things that Closets by Design can do, and it's going to save you money right now because you get up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off with 18-month financing. You can do so much with your closet, much more than you realize, with this wonderful Utah company, Closets by Design. Find out more at 1-800-BY-DESIGN or closetsbydesign.com.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Today, Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall says the city is making huge progress in its public safety plan, but she says it's not sustainable in the long term unless the state legislature kicks in with more support. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
It's been 6 months since the plan was unveiled, and Mayor Mendenhall says of the 27 actions outlined in it, 12 are complete and 15 are in progress. Some of those include improved street lighting, park security, and affordable housing investments. But she says other recommendations are more of a challenge without support from lawmakers.
The city advocated for several clear policy changes that would have better advanced this plan, but many of them failed to pass through the legislature. I urge lawmakers to give those measures more serious consideration moving forward.
She says the city needs long-term funding to take on the current crime, housing, and drug crises.
Salt Lake City cannot act alone for the public safety plan to be effective. Each level of government, each individual function must hold one another accountable, or the system will remain fragmented and inefficient.
Mendenhall says they're also working to support Salt Lake City residents who could lose their Medicaid under the president's recently passed spending bill.
We should anticipate the loss of housing access, the destabilization of mental health, and perhaps relapse into substance use treatment for individuals who are currently stabilized. What those exact numbers are, we've asked our healthcare advocates and professionals to try to help us refine that. I'm not prepared to pin a number on it, but you know that the vast majority of permanent supportive housing in this county is in Salt Lake City, and that a good number of those individuals are receiving Medicaid that is compromised by this bill.
The mayor says she is proud of the progress they've made, and she hopes next time they check in, they can detail even more accomplishments and get more support from the state. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
The plan came about after Governor Spencer Cox, House Speaker Mike Schultz, and Senate President Stuart Adams sent Mendenhall a letter telling her to restore public confidence, security, and safety. In that letter, they also called the city's police department ineffective. Shortly after the mayor's office released the plan, Police Chief Mike Brown resigned from the force, and Brian Redd was selected to take his place. Stay with us. We'll be back with more Midday in just 60 seconds.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
The city of Mill Creek is looking at the feasibility of implementing a shuttle system to take folks up Mill Creek Canyon. While the plan is still in its infancy, Mayor Jeff Silvestrini tells me a shuttle system would go a long way in helping the crowds that recreate in the canyon. So, Mayor, let's talk about the possibility of a shuttle up Mill Creek Canyon. First of all, what are your thoughts on that? Is that something you're in favor of?
Yeah, I think, given the crowd that this canyon experiences and the traffic, and particularly the parking. The traffic isn't really the issue so much as the parking along the road. We need some kind of a solution there to both protect the environment of the canyon against trampling of vegetation on the side of the road, which induces invasive weeds. And also, those of us who have tried to hike in that canyon on a weekend or a holiday, sometimes you have to add a mile, even a mile and a half onto your hike to walk from where you can find, parking to the trailhead to go to Dog Lake or, a Big Water or something like that. So a shuttle actually, could leave some of those cars out of the canyon. We could restrict, on-street parking to protect the environment and then get people up there without all the cars.
Describe for us at what stage you are in the process of possibly implementing a shuttle system.
Well, in order to get approval from the Forest Service, which controls the land, we need to basically update some environmental issues. And so the Central Wasatch Commission has actually commissioned an update of a plan that was done by Fair and Pierce to study the viability of a shuttle years ago. And we've had some, issues with implementing that shuttle because of concerns about where cars would park at the bottom and how we could accommodate dogs or bicycles on a shuttle. But we've seen some of those problems solved by High Valley Transit up in Summit County with how they are approaching transportation challenges to Bonanza Flats. And so, they've taught us some things, I think. And so we're updating that study to check the feasibility of it. We also have something in hand now that we maybe didn't have before, which is the city of Mill Creek controls some expanded parking along Virginia Way on the west side of the I-215 freeway that could be used to park some cars, at the bottom of the canyon. And so some things have changed to make the idea more feasible. the Forest Service has been a little more receptive to the idea of late, and with some of the improvements that are being made in the Upper Canyon right now with to the road, the shuttle is more feasible. We had some issues with the road because it was falling into Mill Creek, and it just wasn't suitable to run a big vehicle up there.
Right. How optimistic are you that this will become a reality?
Well, we still have a ways to go, and it wouldn't be able to start until the construction is done, which is we've got another year of that in addition to this summer. But we're hopeful that we might be able to start something maybe as early as the 2027 summer season.
What are you hoping that would look like? How would that system? Where would they get on the shuttle? How do you foresee that coming about?
Okay, so I would imagine that folks would be able to park at the bottom of the canyon. So either on this property I mentioned that's controlled by the city, it's part of our right of way, or potentially agreements with the Granite School District for out of school time parking at Skyline High School. There are some other schools in that area that are candidates as well. But we park at the bottom of the canyon, catch a shuttle up the canyon from that point, and then you get delivered back to that point when the shuttle comes back down when you're done with your hike or your bike ride or your dog walking. And the issue we have is we have to have shuttles that can accommodate all the different kinds of users we have. And, there are some challenges, room for bicycles and, how dogs behave on a shuttle and things like that. But I think that we're seeing some examples where those problems can be solved.
Yeah. How about there's a fee to go up that canyon? So would that eliminate that user fee for those people on the shuttle?
Well, let me say this. I don't know the answer to that specifically, but conceivably it could, right? It'd be nice to have some kind of an incentive for people to take that kind of transit up the canyon, and that certainly would be one thing we might consider in terms of encouraging people to go that way so they wouldn't have to pay the fee.
Mayor, any final thoughts for us?
No, just I'm encouraged that maybe we're going to see some progress on this. I'm interested in taking a look at this study, and if we can make it work, we'll do what we can to do that.
All right, Mayor, thanks for being with me.
No problem. Thanks, Maria.
Mill Creek Mayor Joe Silvestrini telling me that studies of a Mill Creek Canyon shuttle system are underway. The future of public broadcasting in the U.S. on shaky ground today following a late-night congressional vote. We will break down the developments after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
Police do have a left lane blocked in Riverton, southbound Bangerter Highway at 134th South. You can get through the area. It's a tight squeeze in that construction zone. Just be prepared to be over to the right lane. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
If your lights flicker, your breakers trip, or something just doesn't feel safe, if someone is telling you your electrical panel needs to be replaced and your house needs to be rewired, At Your Service Pros offers full electrical inspections for just $49. You'll get everything checked, your panel, wiring, outlets, grounding, and they'll give you an honest report. If it's safe, they'll tell you if there's an issue, and if there's an issue, you'll get an explanation so that you can understand, and then they can help you fix the problem without pressure. Call At Your Service Pros 801-YOUR-PRO to schedule your $49 electrical inspection. That's 801-YOUR-PRO. This month, At Your Service Pros is giving you a chance to win a free air conditioning system. All you need to do is comment on their YouTube videos. They're also giving you a second opportunity to nominate someone else to win a free system. Just go to YouTube, search Healthy Water and Air, and watch the AC giveaway video. Subscribe and comment. Just say hi to double your chances of winning.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips. So we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1 ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You probably saved my life.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight and keep it off.
I mean, I was 30 pounds overweight, and I went in, and the doctor said, you need to change your diet.
Get help and get started with Soda Weight Loss.
Got off my blood pressure medicine and my cholesterol medicine, and that is amazing to me.
I went from a 16, 18 down to a size 4 now. So that is amazing. It makes you feel so good.
Splash into summer savings right now with Soda's lowest prices of the year.
No injections, no pills, no hunger.
I would recommend Soda because it's sustainable. This is lifetime change.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal.
We're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and results. And with our incredible summer savings, what are you waiting for?
Get help, get results at SodaWeightLoss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
It's time to hit the road and make this your summer of freedom with Motorsportsland's RV summer deals happening right now. Save thousands on the RV you've always wanted and get away in style, comfort, and luxury. Whether you're chasing sunsets or campfire nights, we've got the perfect trailer to get you there. If you're sitting at another dealer to make a deal and suddenly they're adding thousands for freight, prep, or orientation, that's your cue to run away and come to Motorsportsland, where what you see is what you pay. Our prices are real. No hidden charges, no gimmicks, and no pressure. We're a family-owned, local Utah dealership that's been helping people just like you get away for over 55 years. Plus, we offer flexible financing, expert service, and free training with every RV we sell. Adventure's calling, so don't miss your chance. Come in today and let Motorsportsland help you get away.
Let Motorsportsland help you get away.
Motorsportsland.com.
You are listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos. Major cuts to public broadcasting moving closer to a reality today after Vice President J.D. Vance had to cast a tie-breaking procedural vote on a rescissions package late last night. On this episode of Start Here, host Brad Milkey breaks down the developments with ABC's Ali Pecorin.
I'm definitely a product of public broadcasting. I grew up watching PBS. My first radio job was in public radio. Super valuable services that are funded by donors, yes, viewers like you, but also the federal government. Some conservatives have long accused these programs of being politically biased, arguing taxpayers shouldn't be footing the bill for news programs in general. Well, this week, public broadcasters and several other groups say their federal funding is about to be pulled as part of a piece of legislation called a rescissions package. And yesterday, Republican senators made some tweaks that could see these cuts passed by the end of the week. Let's go to the Capitol right now, where we find ABC Senate producer Ali Pecorin. Ali, can we start real basic? Rescissions? Am I even saying the word right?
Yeah, this is a new word for all of us on Capitol Hill. Congress hasn't actually passed a rescissions package since the Clinton administration. So we're all learning, and that's the good part. What's going on here right now is that Congress, as we all know, approves the funding that the federal government is able to spend every year. So Congress deals with that through these big appropriations bills. And I feel like we talk a lot about this anytime we're getting close to a government shutdown, right? We're always talking about government funding. What Congress is trying to do right now is go back and claw back some of the funding that they've already approved. So in 2024, they approved a bunch of funding. And now what they're saying is, actually, we want to go back and change our minds. We don't want to approve some of that funding. We want to take it back.
Cross this stuff out.
Exactly. And it really comes up because this is a lot of the funding that was axed out of the federal budget by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency.
We have to really delete entire agencies, many of them.
So they went in and they said, hey, we don't want to do any of this spending anymore. And what we're seeing right now is Congress saying, hey, wait a second. Actually, we need to approve that. You guys can't just decide you're not going to spend money that Congress appropriated. Congress has to say that. And so that's what's going on here on Capitol Hill right now.
I see. So Elon Musk has said we're going to get rid of a lot of this funding that could shutter entire agencies. I mean, what are the cuts that would be part of this package?
You'll remember, Elon Musk came in with some pretty lofty promises about what Doge was going to accomplish.
And I'm confident that over time we will see $1 trillion of savings and a reduction in $1 trillion of waste and fraud reduction.
What we're actually looking at here on Capitol Hill right now is a very small percentage of what it is that he wanted to cut. And so what Congress is attempting to do right now is pass this package that would cull back about $9 billion in funding. Now, obviously, to folks like you and I, that's a ton of money. But when you compare it
right.
to the trillions of dollars that Congress normally spends, it's really not that much money for Congress to be spending a lot of time debating about.
There has been a renewed commitment to reducing spending.
Still, for Republicans, they're sort of trying to do this as a sort of good faith effort to show that they are being serious when they say they want to cut spending.
We've got a $36 trillion debt. We have to do something to get spending under control.
So the two big things in the bill that are going to be affected if Congress moves this forward are, as you mentioned, public broadcasting.
No one's in a news desert anymore. So why are we spending money on public broadcasting?
There's funding for NPR and PBS stations in here that the government provides that this bill looks to call back.
Too often, these programs are partisan propaganda.
The other big area where this funding is going to be affected is the cuts that were made to USAID.
That was ABC's Ali Pecorin speaking with Start Here host Brad Milkey. I spoke with Dr. Dale Cressman, Professor Emeritus at the School of Communications at Brigham Young University, to get his take on the situation. He also has experience as a journalist and was a former news director at public radio and TV stations. Let's begin with, what is your reaction to the Congress's elimination of funding for public media?
Well, we're not there yet. The final vote is expected sometime this week, although things are not looking good. In fact, I think this is a tragic development. I don't think most Americans realize how much people depend on public broadcasting, whether it's for its primary mission of educational broadcasting or, say, providing broadcasting in the Spanish language or in Native American languages. It provides emergency readiness and public alerts. It serves markets that are not served by commercial broadcasters, and it will certainly lead to a service being negatively affected, but in some places it may even cause stations to shut down, leading to what we call news deserts, areas that are not getting local journalism from anyone.
Let's narrow in on local journalism. How do you see that affecting news here in our area?
Let's say on radio, for example, coverage of the legislature every year. They devote quite a bit of resources to that. So local reporting is mostly at risk, and about 10% of radio's budget comes from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. It's even worse on television. I think it's more like 20%. KUED is very vulnerable, and it provides a lot of children's programming. In both cases, licensing of national programs will be affected as well, and everything right down to music licensing and coverage of cultural issues, things like that. It may eliminate local news broadcasts. For example, Radio West could be at risk, things like that. I think it's pretty dire.
So when we look at the news industry in general, how does the lack or less competition impact the stories that people hear?
Well, we've already seen over the last 10, 15 years a massive consolidation of news broadcasting. Corporations fewer corporations own more stations. And in the last 10 years, the FCC got rid of the home station rule, which means that a licensed station had to have studios in the area in which it was licensed. So that means in some areas of the country, the local news broadcasts are not even produced locally. They're produced in some other city. Public broadcasting at least provides local news in places that commercial broadcasting doesn't.
How, in your mind, does it change the types of stories that people hear?
In commercial broadcasting, you're going for ratings. That's what sustains you, is the ratings determine your advertising. And so the types of stories that you cover are pretty homogenous. You look at local TV stations, and most of the stories are the same stories. Whereas public broadcasting, since it is not dependent on ratings, it is able to cover stories that are important and people should know about, but at the same time, maybe no one else would cover.
Any final thoughts for us?
I think what's going to have to happen is, if these stations are to survive, donors are going to have to step up. That means listeners and viewers and ideally philanthropists. The other thing that is interesting about this is that these cuts are going to affect mostly red states, because it's rural and small town stations that are not served by commercial broadcasters. They're the ones most at risk, and we find those mostly in the smaller red states like Alaska, Utah, West Virginia, and so on. And so it'd probably be a good time for people, if they feel strongly about this, to contact their senators.
NPR and PBS have both spoken out against this development, defending the value of public broadcasting while also pushing back on accusations of bias. The Senate will continue to debate the proposal throughout the week. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Congress wading into the name, image, and likeness territory today, what that could mean for Utah's colleges. Angry stingers. Have you noticed hornets and wasps seem a little more aggressive this summer? I'll tell you why. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
A small accident in South Jordan, northbound Bangerter Highway prior to 114th South. Maria?
Thanks, Ricky. KSL's top local stories coming up in just 1 minute. But first, let's get the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. House lawmakers taking up a cryptocurrency package after 12 Republicans joined Democrats yesterday to block it from advancing. President Trump spoke to holdouts and has their support. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more.
Supporters championing these overall crypto bills as first of their kind, but there are concerns that one of the bills regulating a digital asset called stablecoins doesn't go far enough in regulating an often volatile industry. And Democrats point to the fact that President Trump, whose family business is building an empire on cryptocurrency, could personally benefit from the bill because a firm with ties to the Trump family recently launched its own stablecoin.
Amtrak says it's working to fix a system-wide IT outage, leaving the rail service unable to process reservations through digital and kiosk channels. Customers, though, can still book at Amtrak station or by phone. On Wall Street, stocks ended up boosted by President Trump's comments that he likely will not fire Fed Chair Jerome Powell. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story, a firefighter was injured while working on the Forsyth fire in southern Utah. Dameron Valley Fire and Rescue reports that they helped get the firefighter off the mountain to a designated landing zone where medics treated him while waiting for a helicopter. He was taken to St. George Regional Hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. Individual drivers in Salt Lake City report that they crash about once every 9 years. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more.
The new data is from the Allstate America's Best Drivers Report. It shows typical drivers across the U.S. crash every 10.5 years, but those in Salt Lake crash more often, which places the city as the 94th least crash-prone city out of 200. Those in Brownsville, Texas, have the best crash record, only having an accident once every 14 years, with Boise, Idaho drivers a close second. If you want to stay away from the worst crash city, That would be Boston, Massachusetts. They crash every 3 years on average. The Allstate report says their goal is to boost awareness of driving safely, not determine insurance rates. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Every 3 years. KSL Sports, we're getting our first look at the new season schedule for the Utah Mammoth after the NHL released the league schedule. The Mammoth will start the season on the road against the Colorado Avalanche on October 9th. The team will play 2 more games on the road before playing their home opener on October 15th against the Calgary Flames. Other stories KSL is following. Search and rescue efforts continue in central Texas, where roughly 100 people remain missing following this month's deadly floods. USU professor Scott Hammond is a member of the Utah County Search and Rescue Team. He says that in these kinds of situations, dogs are incredibly helpful.
I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I still am amazed at the kind of problems they can solve. They see with their nose, and just like we see with our eyes, and they can smell maybe 500 or 600 times better than we can.
Hammond told me earlier today that volunteers are working tirelessly to search for the victims without pay. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 231 points, ending the day up 0.5%, sitting at 44,254. S&P up by 19 and the NASDAQ up by 52 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
We had a report of a possible accident, and it may have been cleared at 17th South and 5th West. We already have traffic getting busy and slow on southbound I-15 between 53rd South and 90th South Sandy. Advanced Window Products, factory direct affordable windows. Call today, they're on their way. Financing available. Save now, pay later. AdvancedWindows.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today's high 94, but creeping back up to near 100 tomorrow, and a slight chance of showers tomorrow, 20% chance on Friday, but back down into the mid-90s on Friday. 93 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want to tell you about our famous "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. That's right. It's a warranty you don't need, but we give it to you anyway. Let me explain. Most warranty problems for siding, gutters, and windows are caused by not installing stuff right in the first place. If you rush the work, cut corners, or use subpar materials, you're just begging for problems later. At RGS Exteriors, we don't tolerate careless workmanship. We slow down, focus on every detail, and use only the best materials. We prevent warranty work by doing the job right in the first place. That's why the 10-year everything guarantee we give you is also known as our "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. We absolutely will be there if you need to use it. But honestly, you probably will never have to. Done right the first time. That's the RGS way. For siding, gutters, and windows, call 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsexteriors.com.
Five guys walk into a JCW's and order burgers. A pastrami, a mushroom Swiss, a guacamole bacon, a hickory barbecue, a ribeye steak, 2 onion rings, 3 french fries, a strawberry, mint, peanut butter, chocolate, and marshmallow shake, and not one left to tip. Because at JCW's, we don't ask for it. We think the price you see should be the price you pay. And all that "would you like to leave a tip" stuff is for the birds. JCW's. Quality and a lot of it. Open in American Fork, Lehigh, Provo, South Jordan, and Harriman.
Hey, gang, it's Big Jim Smith. I am now retired, and I'm a full-time radio listener, and I'm glad I am. I had a unique situation of not being able to refi my house because I'm not employed. Despite the fact that I have lots of income, I have tons of assets, overcoming some hurdles made it impossible to get things together with banks or credit unions. So I contacted a guy I heard about right here on the radio, Rick Kirchenbaum at Loans by Rick. Best phone call I've ever made. Rick and his team at Vintage Lending were able to help me overcome some incredible hurdles, how to verify my income, all the things I needed to do to get my refi together, and they got me more cash out of my house than I expected. Do it. If you have problems getting your financing together, call Loans by Rick. You can trust Rick Kirchenbaum, Loans by Rick, and Vintage Lending. He is NMLS number 241179. Call him directly at 801-809-7283. That's 801-809-7283. Tell him Big Jim sent you. Loans by Rick.
You are listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos. As football season prepares to get underway, Congress is working to level the playing field by putting in place a law that makes the rules around NIL the same in each state. Commissioner of the Big Sky Conference, Tom Wistrcill, joined me to explain why additional legislation is needed. So, Tom, let's begin and just talk about this new NIL legislation. It's kind of confusing for me. I thought that athletes were already being paid for their name, image, and likeness. So what does this legislation do?
Well, we, the NCAA member institutions and conferences, yes, you are correct. We have already entered this revenue sharing phase with our student athletes. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of the wild, wild west. It's very unregulated. And some of the challenges that we've been asking Congress to help us for, basically, I'd say probably about the last 3 to 4 years to try to get some federal legislation that can settle the marketplace and create an even playing field. For example, 34 states have NIL laws. As you can imagine, there are 34 different laws. So trying to have a national organization in all 50 states where 34 states are doing it differently, that creates problems. So our goal has been to work with members of Congress on both sides of the aisle to try to come up with some legislation that we think can help calm the waters a little bit. And that's what this SCORE Act does. And so that's the 10,000-foot view, and happy to answer any more details in that, depending upon where you want to go.
Right. So just describe for us the challenges that you have been experiencing and how this will eliminate those.
Yeah, so the first challenge that we've had is anytime there's a transaction in this type of area, people think there's an employment status that it triggers. And so the student athletes don't want to be employees. We don't want them to be employees. And so, the first thing this does is it ensures that student athletes are not employees of the universities. And so that's a big first step, number one. Number two is what I mentioned before. It preempts these state laws and basically makes them null and void, that the federal law will trump all these state laws around NIL and how it's managed, how the dollars are given to the student athletes, and then how they're handled with taxes and those. And then the third thing that's really important, it provides a very limited liability protection for us to actually establish rules and laws around NIL. Now, someday maybe that could be some type of a salary cap or something. But right now there's no rules governing the amount of money. There's no rules about the work that's done for name, image, and likeness. There's no federal law around that. And so this would give us some ability to provide some guardrails in the system, which we all need, every level, whether you're talking the largest schools at the P4 level or mid-majors like the Big Sky Conference. We need some guardrails so we know when we step on the field of play or on the basketball court that the other school is doing things similar to us. And so those are the three main parts of the legislation and why we are supportive of it.
NIL is changing college athletics. Do you think overall that it's going to be a good thing for fans?
I do. I think what it does is, fans know there's a lot of money in the system, right? I mean, we have athletic departments that are, generating $100 to $200 million a year. Coaches are being highly paid. And so to share that revenue with the student athletes is the right thing. And schools are in different places. Here in Utah, Utah is at a different level than Utah State. Utah State's at a different level than Weber State. And so I think people understand where things are at in that pecking order. But there's an expectation that, hey, now the student athletes are being paid. That's a good first step. And we're trying to just bring some kind of level the playing field. That's what this legislation does. And I think it's just the nature of business, and people understand it, and they can still go cheer for their team and cheer on those student athletes. Anything
you'd like to add that maybe I haven't asked you?
I think people got to be patient. This is going to take a little while. This is all brand new. Number one, this piece of legislation we're talking about just started in the House. And while I think it's going to pass the House, I do think the Senate's going to be a challenge before it becomes law. But at least we're trending in the right direction. And so people are just going to have to be patient as we work through the system.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for being with me.
Great to be with you as well.
That is the commissioner of the Big Sky Conference, Tom Wistersill, there talking about the NIL legislation that is before Congress. Midday with Maria Shilaos continues in just 60 seconds.
Have you seen those billboards that have a giant turtle on them that say win a new air conditioner? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and you're probably wondering, what's that all about? Well, the turtle is a character in our new TV commercials that'll be airing this summer. I know it's kind of silly, but we're always trying to figure out how to grab attention and stand out in a crowded market. We thought a big turtle would do the trick. Another thing we're doing is every week this summer, Any Hour is giving away an air conditioner to one lucky customer. We're calling it the Coolest Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how it works. This summer, if you get an estimate to replace your air conditioner or purchase a new air conditioner from Any Hour Services, you'll automatically be entered into our weekly drawing. If your name is drawn, Any Hour will pay for your air conditioner, up to $8,750. We just want to meet more homeowners that are in the market for a new air conditioner and have the chance to earn their business. We're confident that once you have an Any Hour technician in your home, you'll see why we have over 28,000 Google reviews. No purchase is necessary. See official rules at anyhour.com.
Have you encountered any aggressive wasps this grilling season? People online are complaining about their encounters with the pests, but one University of Utah professor says he hears these comments every year. Biology professor Jack Longino teaches a course on bugs and insects every fall. He tells KSL News Radio's Virl Johansson it's just what wasps do at the end of the season.
These are social insects. They live in colonies. All the reproduction is by a queen. And so the yellow jackets that are coming to pester you are all, not directly reproducing themselves, but helping their mother reproduce in this case. And what happens is that early in the season, when an individual yellow jacket is in a colony that has few individuals, it's got a long life ahead of it, then it is individually, kind of more important for the colony and more important to stay alive, to forage and so forth. And there's less to defend around the nest itself because the nest is small and just getting started. But that all changes, so they have a greater self-preservation instinct early in the season. But that all changes as the summer progresses because there get to be many more of them. There's a lot of investment in the nest that's being built up, the new larvae. And the other factor that's relevant here is that these colonies are annual. So all those individuals are going to die come the first freeze, no matter what. They don't overwinter. And each yellow jacket colony produces a crop of new queens that disperse in the fall and hide out through the winter on their own to start new colonies in the spring. So all those yellow jacket workers just die out in the fall. And so late in the summer, mid to late summer, each individual yellow jacket has a limited future life. And so at that stage, they are both, one is they're highly motivated to feed this last crop of larvae that are being raised. So they get ravenously hungry and will, sort of come attack your picnic. And they get incredibly brazen. They lose that risk aversion and they'll sort of risk everything, to get that morsel of hot dog from you. And they become fearless. And so that's what people notice is almost every summer there get to be more and more of them, and they just get to be more and more of a nuisance and start stinging people around your picnic. And so that's the story as far as I understand it.
Longino says they aren't as bad as they seem, and they do help get rid of pests in the garden. Interest rates looking like they'll stay the same this month. More on why and what that means for those of you looking to borrow money coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
PD still blocking a left lane of traffic in Riverton, southbound Bangerter Highway at 134th South. Also starting to see traffic filling in and slowing down southbound I-15, Murray and Midvale. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Peak summer fun is here, and so are peak summer savings during the Utah Summer RV Sale, presented by Bish's RV. July 17th through the 19th at the Shops of Southtown, we're bringing you sizzling summer savings on new and used RVs. We're packing the parking lot with smoking deals for every budget. Shop new and used travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhomes, and more. Like travel trailers starting under $119 per month on approved credit. 90 days of all play and no pay OAC. Plus, trade up when you trade in your current RV. Get an additional $500 value added to your current travel trailer, or an additional $1,000 added to your current fifth wheel or Class C motorhome when you trade it in. You'll also get a Blackstone Adventure Ready grill with any RV purchase during the sale. And this is the only summer show to feature the entire lineup from Wayfinder RV, exclusively at Bish's. Don't miss your best chance for an epic second half of summer during the Utah Summer RV Sale. 3 days only, July 17th through the 19th at the Shops at Southtown. See you there. Based on approved credit, 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months. Stock number 81734. Subject to prior sale. See the details. Deal number 426B.
Join KSL and Amanda Dixon this Friday from 3 to 5 at the Salt Lake NPS store, 1600 Empire Road. Discover great values and deals every day. NPSstore.com.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Amanda, we love talking about Utah Community Credit Union, and guess what? They just got news that they saved their members over $40 million in 2024 alone.
And UCCU is opening 4 new branches in the Salt Lake Valley, which means 6 total now. They have 21st South, Taylorsville, Sandy, Magna, Harriman, and Draper.
And to celebrate these new branches, UCCU is offering some amazing opportunities. First of all, $150 cash just for setting up direct deposit with your UCCU account.
They'll give you up to $250 cash just for transferring any existing loan from another institution to UCCU.
And here's the big one, giving away 10 amazing prizes, including, get this, a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler.
So you heard that right. A brand new Jeep Wrangler could be yours, and no purchase is necessary. You don't even have to be a member.
Anyone can enter. It's easy. All you've got to do is go to uccu.com and sign up. So enter to win today.
UCCU.com. Find out more about Utah Community Credit Union, where you're going to love where you bank.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Midday with Maria Shilaos. We are streaming live on the KSL News Radio app this hour. It's sponsored by At Your Service Pros. The Federal Reserve is not expected to cut interest rates this month. Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver joined Andy Farnsworth on Utah's Morning News today to share his takes on the future of interest rates.
Was it expected that they would, or is this what they were thinking was this the expected outcome?
Yeah, they're meeting in about 14 days, 4 hours, and 42 minutes to be exact, and don't expect an interest rate cut at that meeting. There's less than a 2% chance if you look at Fed fund futures, but a 100% chance that the president will not like that outcome when that Fed meeting happens. And if you're the Federal Reserve, you're looking at this inflation report yesterday, 2.7%, a little higher than we had last month, but nothing crazy. And you're looking at the unemployment rate at 4.1%, and you're saying no reason to cut interest rates now. That's only going to spur inflation, and they have the labor market and prices kind of right where they want them. We have not seen the impact yet of tariffs or the threat of tariffs bleed through most of the retail prices we are paying. We're going to get a retail sales report tomorrow that'll paint a better picture, but I was looking at the CPI yesterday. No inflation really on apparel. You'd expect that from a lot of clothes and footwear coming from overseas, or automobiles, especially new automobiles. Those really haven't taken effect yet either. So more smoke than fire, and no reason to cut interest rates except for the reason that the president wants them cut.
So the year-over-year inflation up a full percent above what the Fed's goal is of 2% each year. So what is driving what's driven the inflation from last year to this year? Is it just the election? Is it the policies from the first 6 months of this year, or what?
It's shelter prices and home affordability, again, at an all-time low. You just heard from another reporter about mortgage demand plunging again because nobody is buying, nobody's selling when you have mortgage rates for the 30-year north of 6.5%. So that drives up rental prices. Shelter prices are pretty high. Health insurance, car insurance, those prices have risen as well. And we've had a rise in food prices. We did have that spike because of egg prices, but those have come down. But the big saving grace, I think, in a lot of this is lower gas prices, gasoline prices. We fill up every week, sometimes twice a week, those of us that are running around small businesses. And those have been, those are about 7% lower than last year. That's made people feel like there's a little bit more spending power in their wallet.
And again, that was Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver with Andy Farnsworth. University of Utah unveiling its $97 million Crocker Science Complex today. It's a project that's been in the works for nearly a decade. Earlier on Midday, I spoke with Vice Provost and Senior Dean Peter Troppa to learn about this new complex. Describe for us this new complex.
Yeah, well, it's a complex of 3 buildings. We're doing the grand opening and ribbon cutting of the LS Skaggs Applied Science Building, and together with the historic Stewart Building and the Crocker Science Center, that will form the Crocker Science Complex, nearly 300,000 square feet of state-of-the-art research and educational space.
Yeah, describe for us how this will change the educational experience.
Yeah, well, the students have been front and center in the design of this building from day one. We're increasing capacity in undergraduate physics labs by about 56%. That allows us to build capacity in a whole host of programs that require classes that will take place in this building. In fact, 37 STEM majors and 9 pre-professional programs. So every future doctor, every future physical therapist, every future computer scientist, biologist will take classes in the Crocker Science Complex and the Skaggs Applied Science Building. Very excited about that.
Awesome. Can you describe what makes this, or some things that make this complex unique?
Yeah. So one of the things that makes this unique is, as I said, students are put front and center. So we have programs for entering students from the very the first day that they're on campus. They get to be placed in labs under the guidance of faculty members and postdocs and graduate students to begin working on authentic undergraduate research projects from the first moment that they're on campus. And the space has been designed to accommodate an increase in capacity of those kinds of experiential learning programs. It's also been designed with the community and outreach in mind. At the top of the Skaggs building, there will be a whole array of telescopes that will be available to the public during our weekly star parties. So when there's a special celestial event like an eclipse or something of that nature, we get a lot of interest from the community, and now we have a great way to engage them every week in that observatory environment.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Thank you so much for being with me.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That was Vice Provost and Senior Dean Peter Troppa talking about the U's new science complex. Do you have a need for speed? If so, you've probably taken a spin in a good old-fashioned stick shift. Today is National Stick Shift Day, but right now, even less stick shifts are available for purchase. Only 25 models this year versus 32 last year. So what is killing the manuals? Brian Champagne explains and offers some ideas on how they might live on.
This rev up, dump the clutch sound is even rarer this year. Volkswagen killed off 2 more manuals for 2025, including their driver's car, the Golf GTI. You can now shift your own only in the Jetta GLI.
Once every other month when we have a manual one, someone will buy it, but not super often.
Ethan Coombs sells VWs at Murdoch in Logan.
The GLI we had sold really fast to somebody from far away, I think Las Vegas.
You can't blame the manufacturers. They're giving us what we ask for.
I think one of the most impressive things about Blue Cruise is stop-and-go traffic.
The voice of that guy in the ad, espousing a system that runs your gas and brake for you, sounds like when his car won't start, he calls for help. With a manual, you can push start it. Cars with clutches used to be faster and got better mileage. Not anymore. Even Ferrari dumped the third pedal in the name of speed. You can't shift faster than it can. So who would bother with shifting themselves?
I've had customers that are 75 years old, I've had 24-year-old woman, pretty much all over the scale.
As cars have added more and more convenience, the pendulum has almost swung back where there's a subset of people that are like, well, you know what? I actually want to get in this vehicle and shift the gears. I want to drive the vehicle instead of having it drive me around.
That's Ahmed Raza. He bought a Miata and taught himself stick badly.
Maybe there are other people out there that want to learn.
So he started his Houston-based Manual Driving Academy, where you can book a lesson with a local. He says he has 4 or 5 instructors in Utah. They'll teach you in a parking lot for between $200 and $500, depending on if you want to just move a manual or race one. Raza says people also learn before European vacations. The new electric Lexus RZ will let you fake the shifting experience, and a rumor floated by Motor Trend is that Ferrari has not sworn off manuals forever. The last time they offered one, 2 people bought it. Brian Champagne.
It's a whole different experience.
KSL News Radio.
Well, that'll do it for me today on Midday. Jeff Kaplan is out today. I'm going to get you started with his afternoon news in just a moment.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon. It's 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. Sunny in downtown Salt Lake City and 93 degrees. KSL's top story. A family in Holiday is now trying to clean up a huge pile of mud that flooded their driveway and their basement after a water meter leaked last night. We have team coverage, and we begin with KSL News Radio's Adam Small from the scene.
3 homeowners at the bottom of this hill now have a massive cleanup project on their hands.
It seemed like an explosion of water come out from up there, and it just started rushing down.
But Paul Holmes and his family have more to do than just shovel mud out of the driveway. Paul lives in the basement of his parents' house, which was flooded with several feet of mud after a water meter at the top of their hill leaked.
You can't even get the doors open because the mud is like keeping the doors shut, so we had to go through the back windows.
Paul says he's just grateful neither he nor his dog Arthur were inside when this happened. Now he says the priority is working with the city and or his insurance company to restore his home of 30 years.
Focused on just what can we do to start fixing up.
In Holiday, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Salt Lake City Public Utilities says it was a water meter leak, but one designed to leak on purpose and is to blame for that mudslide. KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce